Hello my fellow gangsters. So a little while ago, Unity put out a blog post where they're showing this new 2D animation package, which is pretty sweet because you can just draw a character from scratch, and if you break it into different parts, then you can add bones to it and animate it. So let's do that because that's pretty cool. But it's still a preview. They're not finished making it, so it's probably gonna change quite a bit. So for making your character, you can use Photoshop or Affinity Photo or any program you want to use. Doesn't really matter. The main thing is make it have a transparent background. So draw your character broken into different body parts and make it have a transparent background. And if you want to skip this part, I'll put a timestamp to skip to, and you can just download the character I drew if you want. But I recommend drawing your own character because it's cool and you'll see how it works. I made my resolution 1080 by 1080, but yeah, make sure it's a transparent background. And I'm actually going to use an ancient version of Macromedia Flash because that's the only thing I've ever got kind of used to drawing in. So I guess I'm going to be inspired by like that movie with Sonic the Hedgehog where he has just an absolutely terrible character design. I'm just gonna like rough out a horrible picture of Sonic. And let's give him some legs. Oh my goodness. See, this is why you have to draw your own character. Please don't use mine. Please draw your own character. So we'll make the head one part. I can't even draw a circle. It's better than the movie design of the new Sonic. It looks great. Okay, so here's his head. Okay, his body. Yeah, boy. We can just duplicate the arm for his other arm. Modify, transform, flip horizontal. Yeah. This is a great drawing. Oh. File, export image, player. It has a transparent background. That'll be a setting somewhere in Photoshop or whatever. So as you can see, the background is transparent and they're all separate pieces. And let's go into Unity and let's create a new project that is going to use a 2D template. I'm going to drag my character into the project. Let's make a new folder called sprites and put him inside there. And let's save our scene as scene 1, I guess. So go to Window, Package Manager, and because this is still a preview package, we click this Advanced tab, Show Preview Packages, and there's 2D Animation, and click Install. And once it finishes installing, our Packages folder should have this 2D Animation folder added to it, and all this stuff. So select our player here. And because we made a 2D Unity project, it should already be a Sprite 2D, but if it's not, choose Sprite 2D and UI, and click on this Sprite Editor button. And you can, on the top here, there's sprite editor. You can go to a skinning editor. And you can go to create bone. And you'll notice that you can't do anything. And this is a little weird. They'll probably fix it later, but you actually have to open up your sprite here and just select the child. And now it knows that it's selected. So now you've got this tool here so that you can create bones. And so to draw, you can use your mouse here. You click with the left mouse button to start making a bone, and then click with the left mouse button again to start making a new bone. Click, click, and then when you don't want to make any more, right click. And then just do that for each of your body parts. So we got our leg and knee joint, and then foot. And then for the arms, it's like arm, forearm, hand, and arm, forearm, hand. I guess we'll have like a waist, or hip, I guess. Hip, stomach, chest, and then our head. And we'll just have one extra one that will be our root bone, so that we'll make all the other bones children of this root bone, so that we could like move this bone around and it would move everything with it, just to make so we have an easier way to move things. So now click on edit joints, and if you select the bone, so this one will be the root bone. I'll just call it root. And we also have a depth. That is which order they appear, like in layers, what's going to be in front of something. If it's a higher number, it's going to be in front. So first let's just name everything. So I'll select that one and call it a head. I guess this one will be hip. And then back, chest, so this is his right arm, arm right, forearm right, hand right, arm left, forearm left, hand left, leg right, knee right, foot right, leg left, knee left, foot left. And if you go to reparent the bone, you can see the hierarchy of all of them. So when you first started drawing a set of bones, each one is going to be a child of the other one. But you draw a bone, and then the next one you draw was a child of the past one, so that if you rotate this bone, it rotates all the children of it, right? So I would want this part rotating to actually move my arms and my head. So I want to put my arm inside of, what is this one called? Chest. So I'm going to put arm right inside chest, arm left inside chest, and my head inside the chest. And I guess my legs would go inside of the hip. So leg left inside the hip, leg right inside the hip. And let's put the hip inside the root. So if we move the root, everything moves. And we can also set the depth in here too. So let's just open up everything, and we will give them the correct depth. So I want the right arm and the right leg to be in front of the body, and the head to be in front of everything, and the left arm and left leg to be behind the body. So I will leave the left arm at depth 0 because that's going to be the furthest back. And then the left leg, I'll make that depth 1. And the knee and the foot also depth 1. And I'll make the body depth 2. So the hip 2, back 2, chest 2. And let's make the right leg depth 3. And the right knee and the right foot depth 3. And the right arm depth 4. So arm right, we'll make that depth 4. Forearm right, depth 4. Hand right, depth 4. And the head will be in the front, so that will be depth 5. And we can always come back and change that if we got it wrong. So now click on Auto Geometry, drag a box around everything, and click Generate for Selected. And now it's made all these little subdivisions and vertices and stuff. So in these other options, you can actually edit each individual vertex and get really detailed if you want to. And you can also change these settings, like how detailed it is, before you generate, and it will be different looking. So I'm just going to do see that one's like very rough and basic. I'm just going to do pretty much the default settings. So you can see by these colors how much influence each bone has now when you rotate them, right? So the purple bone, everything that's kind of purple is getting affected by it. And there's this weights, so that's like the weighting of this. It's the skinned mesh kind of thing. And then you can use a weight brush, and like if I select, so if this one is rotating, and see behind it, none of that blue section moves at all, right? So if I select this, I think I can actually just like paint onto it. So there's add and subtract. So you select a bone, and the left mouse button will paint more of it onto things, so that bone has more of an effect. And if you hold down Control, then it will actually erase the effect that it has, so it has less of an effect. And you can really mess it up. There. So anyway, you can mess with that stuff if you want. I like to go to the weight slider, and then where it has add and subtract, choose smooth, and that will kind of like do almost like a blur effect over all the colors, so they'll all kind of smoothen out. So right now you can see it's kind of harsh when it rotates. Like it kind of folds a bit and doesn't look that great. This kind of softens it. I like to drag the amount to about 4 or 5. And now when I rotate, it's a bit more blended, like smoothly across more space. I don't know. I just like that setting. I think it looks pretty good. It's a pretty sweet effect what they've made, right? Like you don't just rotate things, but you're actually bending them. It's pretty awesome. And you can reset the pose by clicking this reset button. If your bones are all in a weird spot, you just click reset pose. So that's looking pretty good to me. So I'm going to click apply. And I'm going to close this. And let's take our player and drag him into the scene. And then with our player selected, in the inspector window, click on Add Component. And you want to search for Sprite Skin. You want to add a sprite skin. And click on Create Bones. And it's going to grab all the bones that we have in there already. And it just kind of sets everything up. I'm going to have them selected, and with my mouse over the scene view I can press F and it should just find. And let's open this. So we've got our root, right? Our root is good because we can move everything. But inside of that we can sort of assemble him and put him back together. So let's see. Let's move his head so it's actually on his head. And arm right, arm left. So you notice that the arm is behind the body because the depth was a smaller number than the body, right? Leg right, leg left. I'm gonna move the hip so that he's just the hip. Good lord, he looks terrifying. So if say your right arm here was in front of everything instead of behind it, you can go to your player, remember, open it and select the child. So anyways, first select the player, click on sprite editor, now go back for some reason, click on the child. And then go to skinning editor, and let's just look at this. So if his right arm had a different depth, so edit joints, let's make this like depth 6 and go apply. Now it's going to be in front of the body, right? But I only did that to one part of it, not the lower arm. So actually, you can see that the lower arm is still behind it. So you can just change that number to make sure that it's correct. Yeah, arm left was 0. Apply. Okay, cool. So we have our character. And maybe go File, Save Scene. So let's just give him an animation. So I'll select our player. And you can go Window, Animation. And with the player selected, and click Create. Should probably make a folder for animation. And we'll call it player walk. Save that. And he will have an animator automatically made and a animator controller automatically made. So window animator or window animation animator. It'll have our animation here. That's the default. So with player walk open and player selected, you can click record and let's move the timeline a bit. And when you move something, it should automatically make a starting keyframe at the beginning, so we don't have to worry too much about that. In the old versions, I don't think it did that. So, again, good lord. See, it made a new keyframe and it made the old one. Oh my goodness. He is going to look stupid, but that's okay. Maybe this, whoa, bend his knee, maybe, I don't know. You can click on the top keyframe to move all of them around. And you click up on the bar up here and drag to drag the timeline. I don't know how he would, whoa, everything's selected. Hey man, this animation is better than the movie design of Sonic, so we're all good. You can scroll in and out to zoom in and out, scrolling with the mouse wheel. What is he doing? I can't do this. I'm gonna get rid of the starting frame and just start him in like a running pose. Okay, so the left leg goes back, then the left leg goes towards forward, and it needs to get back here to its starting pose. So leg left, select that, Control C to copy, and Control V to paste. I had no first frame. So let's just right, what do you do? Add key, copy. So I right clicked and added a key, copied it, paste it. Foot, let's copy that one too. Paste that. Does at least the right leg look correct? Whoosh. Kind of. So our first pose, the right leg is back, then it's coming forward, then it is forward, then it should be straight down, and then it should be back again. So I think we can just copy these first frames here, paste them there. Good lord, what is going on? Whoosh. It looks so terrible. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. Since it's really hard to select these, you could go add property and then go in and find the thing you want to move, and then you can open its transform, so like the hip, transform, rotation, and you can click this plus and it will add it in. And you can also drag these things, whoa, and you can drag these down here, so you don't have to drag on the image if it's really hard to get at it. Good lord, Sonic, what is wrong with you? And you can also, when you select these top ones, it selects everything underneath it. You can drag over the top ones, and this line out here, you can actually drag everything to make the overall animation faster, so making it shorter. Because you'd be running kind of fast, I think. Good Lord, Sonic, you look terrible. Terrible. Stop recording. Oh boy. See what this looks like. Oh my goodness. Well, it's an animation. From a sprite sheet, that's pretty cool. Good lord. It looks like he's trying to punch somebody. Anyway, you can always click on create a new clip and go to our animation folder. Let's make player idle. You can make as many animations as you want. In the animator, you can right click the one that you want to be the default and set as layer default state, because you don't want him to walk by default. You would want to do some code that makes him walk. So let's just make him so select our player, record. Let's just set this guy up for just standing around breathing. Why did I bend that like I'm not very good at this animation stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. Whatever. I'll rotate this a little bit, and then I'll go forward a ways, and I will right click, add keys for everything. So select everything, then right click, add key, and then let's go in between that and just click on something, rotate it. It's like he's just breathing a little bit, and oh man. Maybe I will select everything. Okay, let's copy these, copy those, and put them on the end frame here so that they loop. Damn, Sonic, you are a mess. I'm gonna make it a longer thing, so 3 seconds. He's just kind of just breathing. I feel like this would be shorter. Like he breathes in quickly and then he exhales slowly. I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna squish him. Copy these. Yeah, now he's like kind of he's breathing. Oh my goodness. Alright, whatever. We could work on this more on another tutorial, making him have controls and walk around or something. Alright, peace out, my fellow gangsters.